Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Real Serious Podcast. As always, I'm joined by Charles and Jack. What's up, boys? The Colts are now 2-2, and they look good.
It's a great day for Indiana football. IU is
actually,
ranked.
yes,
Wait, are we 23 or 24 now?
23.
23.
Then what was the 24 business about?
I think it's the coaches poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. But we're good.
But
we're very good.
Great day.
Yeah. Who do we play next week? Northwestern?
Some frauds ahead of us. Yeah, we play Northwestern. The real test is going to be in 2 weeks. I think that's my personal.
Is that Nebraska?
Nebraska homecoming.
Ooh, that's
gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
I think we can do
it. I think I was talking to Jack.
All of our games.
I was really.
Mm-hmm. All of our games except for the Ohio State game.
We're favored against Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan is fraud. Fraud watch, Michigan.
Didn't they just beat?
They
like,
can't
a good
throw,
team,
man.
though?
All they can do is run the ball.
They can just run the ball.
Yeah.
They almost choked. They were up like 21-0, and then won by 3 against
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota. I mean,
We should
did
have won that game, but the refs bailed them out.
Did I go to the game? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at the game. It was awesome.
Good.
It was fun because like all the students were there. Like I'd never seen the student section that packed since like the Cincinnati game, my freshman year. So it's just kind of crazy. I mean, the Ohio State Michigan games are normally like pretty packed, but like by the end of the first quarter, we're just getting beat by so much that everyone just leaves. But like, I mean, I had some friends that were like, oh, like at halftime, like, oh, I'm ready to go home. I'm like, bro, like, you gotta stay. Like, you gotta stay and like watch that. Honestly, the game was so much fun because, I mean, I would have preferred Maryland score less, but the shootout kind of back and forth for a little while was kind of fun to go through.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a fun. One of the best IU games I've been to, just in terms of the energy that was in the building.
That's sweet. Hunter, are you pretty bummed that like we're gone? Because I was asked this weekend. I was like, wow, that kind of sucks that like the year after you leave, you guys are good. And I was like, I mean, yeah, but at least we're good. And at least like
I like if it was like a trade where it's like you could be equivalent to what we were or be there or be good and be gone. I'd rather be good and be gone. My biggest still annoyance of Indiana is that our freshman year we couldn't go to games when it was Penix, and we did the Penn State game and we beat Michigan at home. We beat Wisconsin at home. Like that was, I think, the year I really wish we were there. Like could have been in the stadium.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's fair.
I will happily trade not being there to be good, because watching good football is always fun.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah. That's what I tell my roommate. Having IU having a football team that can compete, it just makes like weekends so much more fun because it's like,
oh yeah, big time.
Or especially it makes Saturdays a lot more fun because Sundays are always kind of like, is this going to be like a devastating like day? Is it going to ruin my day, or is it going to be okay? Well, that was fun, you know.
Yeah, it used to always be like I'm going to just wait for Sunday, but now I'm like Saturday is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
It makes being out here a little challenging because a lot of the activities are done in the mountains here, and that's like an hour drive. So it's kind of like hard to. Obviously, I want to take advantage of the nice weather, but like during the IU game this weekend, I didn't watch any of it. I went on a hike to like look at the fall colors, which was a lot of fun. But like I'm missing. I don't know. It's just kind of annoying that it's like this or that. You know.
I'm sure you won't be missing out much longer. The weather probably turns over there pretty quick, right? I mean, probably in the next month, it's going to be pretty cold.
That's what I thought, but like, it's still like 85 degrees out. It's still really hot. Yeah. And I think in the Midwest, isn't it like 65 during the days now?
Yeah.
Ish.
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our weather's all whacked because we got the hurricane, or we got some of the leftover hurricane weather.
Collateral or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. But
yeah.
Cool.
Good stuff.
I feel like Charles has watched 2 things this week. That is my guess for what you've watched this week. Is going to be 2.
Oh, what? You know that I've watched Megalopolis and The Wild Robot.
I know. I think that. Oh wait, no. Did you texted me about this? You have to go first.
Sure did.
You have to go first.
Okay, I can go first.
Yeah.
I also think my Wi-Fi is a little better.
It is a little bit.
Great news.
Maybe next week we'll have an Ethernet cable and we'll be cooking.
I wouldn't push it. Okay, yeah. I watched 4 movies.
Let's go.
4 big ones.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I watched The Wild Robot and Megalopolis, and we'll talk about those. I watched the first 2 Transformers movies. And I gave the first one a 2.5 and the second one a 2. These are just not good movies. I don't know if that's a hot take, and I don't know if I'm in the minority on this one, but objectively, these are like shit. It's like just the action is good and nothing. Like the dialogue is brutal, the acting is brutal. Also, you'd think the whole selling point of these movies are giant robots fighting. That's the whole thing. Am I wrong? That's the selling point. And they're battles
awesome.
like I know I'm not disagreeing, but you have this final battle with the main Optimus Prime and the bad guy in both movies, and you think that this like it builds it up the entire movie. It'd be like a long dramatic battle. It lasts like 30 seconds. And Optimus just like wipes them.
Optimus was dead for the majority of the second movie because he got beat in battle. What are you saying?
Yes, and then he comes back and he destroys Megatron and the
he's
Fallen.
Awesome.
Like
yes,
like that.
But he is Optimus Prime.
But I want a little more. Like I want some drama. I want to see some cool slow-mo, like exaggerated battle shots.
All right, no, you're gonna love the third one. You're gonna love the third one because the third one, the last hour and a half, is the battle.
Okay.
The third one, literally, the majority of the movie is the final battle.
Okay. Well, anyway, to wrap it up, would I watch them again? You bet I would, because they are fun.
Awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're sweet, but there's so much that could have been improved. Also, there are probably like 3 full minutes in the second movie of just Megan Fox running.
Correct.
And it's just like, dude,
she's so. It didn't hit for you.
She's so fast.
Huh? It's just like it gets to a point where it's like, okay, we get the point. Let's move on. You know. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
I cannot believe this. This is boggling my mind.
I'm just being objective here.
So I can really go
I haven't seen him, and I was surprised because I feel like they're genuinely like well-received movies. I know.
You need to watch them. This is a fake conversation. I feel like I'm being punked. I cannot believe that this is a real conversation.
Did you read my reviews?
Yes, and I disagree.
That's fine. That's cool.
So wait, hang on. Did you like?
Did you like? Before you ask, I do.
Transformers 1 more.
Yep, I did. I knew you were gonna ask that.
Man,
sorry.
No, it's okay. Hey,
someone else. I've been talking.
You're entitled to your opinion, Jack.
Oh wait.
Oh wait.
If you guys want to see my flea market haul,
you got another one?
Another one?
I didn't get more movies, but I did get something that I don't know if either of you will appreciate as much as I do, but I'll still show you. I got.
Whoa, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. What is that? Is that the books?
That's the book set, the 1970 book set.
That is actually pretty sweet.
Cool, huh?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I walked up, I saw it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Because these are like kind of hard to find, and I don't think they're made anymore. And I'm like, "How much to this guy?" And he's like, $5. And I'm like, He's like, "Okay, 4." I'm like, He's like, 3. I'm like, "I have 2 ones." He's like, "Fine." So I got it for $2.
There you go. That works.
Pretty sweet.
That's crazy.
Right? Anyway, yeah.
Man.
Sorry, Jack, you may go.
No, you're good.
I'm still blown away by Transformers take. I can't.
Yeah, I just watched Megalopolis. I watched an episode of Sopranos with my roommate, and then I haven't logged on Letterboxd, but I think it was like Friday night. I watched the greatest Harry Potter movie of all time, The
Prisoner of
Deathly Hallows
Azkaban?
Chamber of
Part
Secrets.
1. Part 1. You're laughing.
Okay.
You're laughing, but that's my favorite Harry Potter movie. So I watched that.
That's probably top 5.
I love that one. It's great. But I also have a kind of like media hall. So
Whoa.
one of my good friends at school, he got me a gift for my birthday, and
Nice.
we literally just been running around for like the past like month, and like he hasn't been able to give it to me, but he finally gave it to me, and it's a movie I haven't seen, but now I have to see it. He got me the Drive Steel.
Yeah, you
book,
Drive Steel.
Whoa.
That is nice.
which is super sick.
Yep, new personality
And
inbound.
I was like, that's awesome.
Yep.
Really, that's really cool.
That's very.
I love the art and everything was super cool on this, so I'm excited to watch it. I think I'm gonna try and do like a watch party with him and watch that sometime in the next month. But no,
Sweet.
I was like super happy to continue to grow the collection. What'd you watch, Hunter?
So I did 3 things, plus Agatha All Along. We'll talk about. At least maybe I will. I'll do my recaps again, like I did for whatever that show was called that no one watched.
Acolyte.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Acolyte.
I filled my A-list this week with 3 movies. 2 are in my top 15 of the year, and 1 is not. 1 that is now number 12 on the year for me, and I gave 3.5 stars, which I was thinking maybe 4. If I rewatch it, I might give it 4. That is The Substance, which I think is awesome. It is about as subtle as a brick to the face, but I think in the best possible way. Demi Moore is great in it. Margaret Qualley continues to be incredible in everything she's in. Dennis Quaid, my boy Dennis Quaid, though. Give him the Oscar right now. What a performance. Like, he's just so slimy. Like, I could feel the slime coming from the screen. It's like that scene in Ghostbusters 2 where they go to the slime tunnel beneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that is Dennis Quaid in this movie. I really did love it. Also, like, I feel like it's great when a movie gets like an actual reaction out of you. There were many times where I like shrunk in my seat, didn't like almost looked away because I didn't want to watch the body horror that was happening. But man, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Yeah, for all the sickos out there, I really liked it. Then I watched The Wild Robot, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And I finished my week of AMC A-list with Megalopolis, which I cannot wait to talk about in a little bit as well. But yeah, then obviously Agatha, which I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save Agatha till pre Wild Robot and Megalopolis. Also, programming note for people: Penguin episode 2 comes out after we record this, so it will be on next week's episode. So we're always going to be now a week behind on Penguin. At least we figure out what to do with that. But yeah, that's it for me. Cool. All right.
I started Goodfellas as well.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then I fell asleep.
I'm really proud of you. I hope you finish it because it's quite good.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. There is 4 pieces of news today. There's not a lot. Of the 4, 3 of the pieces of news are DC news. 1 is not. Do we want to do DC first or save the 3 DC for after the other piece of news?
DC first.
All right, DC first. All right. The biggest piece of DC news. No, that's great. The biggest piece of DC news was Kyle Chandler has reportedly been cast as Hal Jordan. We talked about a couple weeks ago how they were saying it could have been Josh Brolin. Nope, it's going to Kyle Chandler. And honestly, I think that's pretty awesome. Kyle Chandler rocks. I think it's going to be cool to see him, I think, in this kind of role, which the other big report out of it is that he only signed on for this show, and there's no other expected kind of appearances from him after that. So it seems like Hal Jordan's going to die at the end of the show, or at least disappear, which I'm kind of cool with, because it seems like they're going to have the 2 Green Lanterns in the show, and then Hal Jordan's going to be the older teaching the younger Green Lantern. Really moving the needle.
Excited. No, I'm excited for this, because like I'm at least excited for like some sort of Green Lantern.
I know, it's been so long.
It's been because I feel like with like about every other superhero, you've gotten like a ton of movies. Like obviously, I love Batman, love Spider-Man, but like those 2 heroes alone have gotten so many movies, and it's like they're superheroes that I'm not gonna say that like Green Lantern is better than Batman, because Batman's like,
there are heroes that deserve
my favorite. Yeah, but like, to be completely honest, I think that like, why can't Green Lantern be just as big as some of these other people? So like,
I agree.
I think Green Lantern at least deserves to be as big as Aquaman has been.
Yeah. Okay. I've thought about this.
I agree.
We've had 2 Aquaman movies. We've had 3 Ant-Mans. We've had two Captain Marvels. I think Wonder Woman should be up there. I'm just thinking of like the lesser known characters that like have had multiple movies in the span of a Green Lantern movie coming out, and now
Venom has his own trilogy.
Venom has a trilogy. We had a Morbius movie. We had a Morbius movie. We had Madam Web. Kraven the Hunter is coming out. I just would like to see Green Lantern. And this isn't even a movie. This is a TV show. So
Adam.
He still isn't on screen.
We had Black Adam as well.
Yes. I also think that, but also that applies to Superman. The last Superman solo movie was in 2013.
Yeah.
We've had all of those since. Like, it's like, give us. I mean, I think they're cooking at least. So
yeah.
But it's taking a minute. Okay. That was Green Lantern talk. Millie Alcock as Supergirl is found their villain in Matthias Shorness. Don't super know who that is. Sorry, Matthias. Probably a big fan of the podcast. He is going to be the main villain of Supergirl, which after now reading the book it's going to be based on, it's a pretty awesome character. He's going to be really jacked in this movie because in the book he's very jacked. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for Supergirl. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be really good. At least I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Hey, all we can do is hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like DC in general. I mean, obviously we all grew up with Marvel stuff, and I didn't really read a lot of the DC comics just because we grew up with Marvel. I read a ton of the Marvel comics. So like, I'm honestly open to anything DC can make that's new. Because like Marvel's trying to make new stuff, but it's with like villains where they're like good people,
Yeah.
Like I don't want that,
Hang on. Are you sure you want to say that?
No, I'm just saying like Marvel, it's just like the same stuff. Like give me like a new character, like something new. Like I just like, I'm tired of like, I love Venom, like Venom's great, but like, did we need Morbius or like some of these other like, did we really need Madam Web?
Hang on though, like, because the next piece of news is about
I'm ready.
Break your world. Bane and Deathstroke are getting a movie together. From the writer of the new Captain America movie, Captain America Brave New World, is going to be writing this movie, which apparently is going to be a team-up film featuring Bane and Deathstroke and possibly more members of a team. So it seems like they're doing a Suicide Squad again.
Sounds like it.
So Jack, you just spoke it into existence of what you didn't want, and immediately
I know. I know. I saw that yesterday, and it's frustrating because, I mean, I really don't think we have a great Deathstroke. I mean, what, Will Smith was Deathstroke?
No, he was dead shot.
Okay.
No. He was dead shot. And then
Deathstroke
was Joe Manganiello.
He was teased okay.
Remember when all this was cool and then it just kind of disappeared? That stunk.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to speak too early on the Penguin because who knows? They could make him the hero, but that doesn't really seem to be the route that they're taking with the Penguin. Like, he does all this stuff and you're obviously rooting for him, but you still know that he's the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, if that's the route they take with this, like that's fine. But I still kind of stand on like Venom. Like Venom's a cool character, but like
he should be the bad guy.
if Venom was a superhero, he'd be a superhero. Yeah, like let these people are the bad guys for a reason. Like people like these characters because of that. So if you make them good guys, I'm not gonna say it changes the entire character, but it changes a lot.
I'm with you. I would disagree with that. But that's DC news. That is all I got for DC, unfortunately. Wicked. Wicked is the other piece of news. It has been revealed that Wicked is apparently going to have a 2-hour and 40-minute runtime for Wicked Part 1. The stage play for the entire thing is 2 hours and 45 minutes. Jack, as the Wicked defender, please, you have to say something.
All right. When I saw the runtime, I too gasped and dropped my phone and stumbled to the ground. I fell to my knees in the middle of a Walmart. I had no idea what was going on. I don't think this is okay. If this is a two-parter, I think that the first part is going to be the play. And then I think part 2 would be an entirely different story.
So that is a rumor right now. The rumor right now is that part 1 is the musical and part 2 is the Wizard of Oz told from the perspective of the Wicked Witch.
Honestly, I'm intrigued.
No.
That sounds cool. I like that.
No.
That does sound cool.
No. I disagree.
I'm in. But because have you guys seen the play?
Yes, I've seen the musical. Yeah.
Okay, but Hunter, you would like obviously the Wicked Witch's perspective is like very different, and in the play it's kind of breezed over. You know?
Don't make Dorothy the bad guy. What are we doing?
I'm not saying Dorothy's the bad guy, but like I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept, but like I think very much after the first part. Well, are they already filming part 2? Like right now?
I think it's already done. I think it's already there.
I just don't know. Like it says that there's a part 2, but deep down, I just feel like it's not happening. Like there's no way there's actually a part 2 of this. That's how I feel. But at the same time, like part 1 will be the entire play. It's not. They're not gonna drag it on. They're not gonna drag on. Half of the play into 2 hours and 40 minutes. Because if they did that, I might do what some of the people did in my theater this weekend. Just get up and leave. Which we'll get there later. But just a little.
I'm kind of in on Wicked. When I was sitting and watching the preview, I was pretty fired up. So I think I'm Team Jack on this one.
Yes. I hope this comes back and is just awful, and I can sit here and laugh because, man. All right, fine. I'll let you guys have this one. I'll let you have this one.
That's gonna be a stacked podcast, though. Like that's going to be at least like, depending on how much news is there, that could be like a
long one,
3 hour pod.
Yeah. God. Maybe 8-9 hours. We just really we do what Wicked did and just pad our runtime. We'll just really pull it out.
10 hours of commercial-free podcast.
Yeah, and we don't say anything important. We just drag along something that's already designed for not that long. God. So annoying. Okay. Minecraft. Let's talk about it. So Minecraft Live 2024 happened, which I guess is a big Minecraft event. And they showed a clip from the movie where Steve, played by Jack Black, who looks still nothing like Steve, used a crafting table to make a sword. And then it's so bad. Like it's hard to. You didn't see it?
No, I was going to. I was going to watch it, but then I was like,
hang on. I will pull it up on your phone right now and watch it. Mute yourself and watch it real fast, and then we'll get a live reaction because Jason Momoa learning how to use a crafting table and then not doing it right and it working is just unacceptable. I remember the days where you would have to either open a new tab or I had bought the book where you'd go in and see all the different things that you could use in a crafting table. And if it didn't work, guess what? Nothing was going to happen. And that was the whole point. And now this bull, they can just smack a table and 2 buckets appear. And he's like, oh, well, actually, buckets are really useful here. No, get out of here. Oh, man, it looks so bad. So bad.
That comes out.
It makes me annoyed.
Next year?
Comes out in April.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Chuck is locked in. Oh, the confusion on his face has already begun. Oh no.
Yeah, I just can't take Jack. We'll talk once he finishes up this trailer.
Yeah. Are we anti Jack Black now?
I'm not anti Jack Black. I'm just
I don't mind getting behind this.
Sweet. I don't dislike. Or I'll wait till Chuck gets off. He's
loading. It seems like he's really thinking about what he just saw.
He's trying to process it.
Yep.
I don't
what
understand.
Do you think?
You don't understand? Yeah, it's that bad.
I don't understand. I don't really get what just happened.
It's shocking.
And why was that? You know why is that the clip they showed?
I know.
What did that clip do?
I don't know. The positive of seeing the wild robot is I got to see this trailer again on like the big screen, and it looked slightly better, but not really. Like, I just don't get why they couldn't have just animated it like they did Mario. Why not just do the Mario movie?
Also, call me crazy. I think Adam Driver looks more like Steve on this picture on our podcast than Jack Black does.
It looked like a Minecraft poster. Like
it
when they released
did.
it, I'm like, this looks like Minecraft.
Yeah, there is a another promo. There's a promo image they put out where it says Jack Black as young Steve. The only difference between young Steve and current Steve is they dyed his beard fully black. So it didn't make him even look like Steve when he's younger. They could have had the excuse for like, oh, when he was young, he looked like Steve, and now like he's the hero that's aged not gracefully into becoming this man. No, they didn't, which is insane.
Who's directing this?
The man who directed Nacho Libre.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Is that Jared Hess? Jared Hess directed Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, Minecraft movie. His most recent directing credit is something called Thelma the Unicorn, which has a 5.8 on IMDb. It is a Netflix animated movie about a unicorn named Thelma.
Nice.
Yep. There it is. And then they were like, we should give this guy Minecraft.
I'm still just shocked that they didn't like make this an animated movie. Which it kind of
especially after the success of after they saw Mario, how are they like, let's just play this so safe. Let's play it so safe and just make a Minecraft movie that is a 6.5 out of 10. It's so simple. It's so simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, the amount of like animation is not an easy process, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of like very gifted people to come up with that. But I'd argue that it takes just as much effort to make some of these like crazy looking CGI worlds. I mean,
well, that's the thing too.
Still gotta hire people for it. Like
in the promo images. Yeah, in the promo images, it looks like a lot of the sets are practically built. Like they built a lot of this stuff, and then either they CGI'd over it, or it's all CGI replacement or CGI backgrounds. Like even in the clip that we just watched, that room they're in looks like it's a practical set with actual things there, which is very cool. It's just really bad, like a bad version of it.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort to animate all that stuff and get that kind of, I don't know, like to facilitate that and make sure it gets done. But also your return on that would be like so worth it.
I mean,
like,
Mario made $1 billion.
Yeah. So
I mean, the Mario animation was beautiful.
Sonic has now had 3 movies and a spin-off TV show. Like this is how you do it. Just play it safe.
And I feel like Sonic works.
looks kind of good.
Yeah, dude, Sonic does look good. After seeing the trailer again, I'm like,
Looks
I'm kind of
kinda
in. Yeah,
I was
I know.
See
I
the
was
poster
bringing this
got?
up to Hunter. Oh,
Yeah.
doing the slide.
The Akira slide, very cool.
Yes. That was tough.
Thanks.
Very, very cool.
I was telling Hunter while you're watching the clip, I was just like, I don't dislike Jack Black. It's just like I feel like he's become such a big, like, goofy personality. And it's like this type of projects that he's like, obviously, like the original Kung Fu Panda movies, like, love those, but then like I feel like recently he's just like this big, like, I'm not gonna say he's obnoxious, but like he's like a really goofy guy all the time. And I'm just like, and I get it. This is a kid's. I mean, this will primarily be for kids, but I was just like, I don't know. Like, am I the only one that feels like I don't like? I feel like as a kid, I was like, oh, Jack Black is like awesome, you know? And
he almost is like a caricature of himself now.
Yes.
Like that's just how he feels.
Yeah, like that's just. I think that's just the way he acts, and also
I don't
people.
It feels like
people hire him for that.
Like it just feels like he's like playing the role of Jack Black instead of just being Jack Black hanging out.
Like we've all seen Tropic Thunder, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Charlie, you got to watch Tropic Thunder.
Missing it.
But
yeah,
Jack Black and Tropic Thunder, I almost feel like that's who he is.
Yeah, he's kind of become that.
Like in his movies, that's just who he is, you know? And like,
yeah,
that's honestly, that's fine. It's just like, obviously I feel like maybe I'm growing out of the certain demographic that would love Jack Black, and that's fine. I was just curious if those feelings were similar among the group.
Sorry, man.
It's okay. All right, let's do trailers. All right, for once, the trailers are mainly good. There's only one bad one. And I would even make the argument that it is the better version of the two trailers we've gotten so far. So let's start with Red 1.
I thought last week had good trailers, but okay.
Red 1, though. This was a much better trailer for Red 1 than the first one. This trailer made me go, it was really, really bad. So now this is passably bad. It jumped that far. That's pretty impressive. It went from a 2 to a 5.
It could be one of the best 3-star movies of the year. I'm telling you.
No, don't do that.
No, Jack.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, Jack. It's actually one of the best 2-star movies of the year inbound. All right, could be this.
You know what? Honestly, I'll take that. I'll take it.
You're forgetting that we still have the Beekeeper this year, and that's not getting touched.
Come on,
that is the best 3.5 star.
Yeah, we've also had Rebel Ridge, which was another 3-star banger. I do have to let you know though. I'm looking at the IMDb for Red 1 right now. What do you think that Dwayne Johnson's name is in this movie? You'll never guess it, but it's hilarious in the best possible way. His name is Callum Drift, which is an all-time name. Probably one of my favorite the rock rolls ever. It's gonna be like, oh, what's up there? Callum Drift, me personally. It's one of the best. Oh my god, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this.
Makes one of us. I personally can wait, but that's fine.
See, I feel like people can I feel like the Rock is, I'm not gonna say he's the same as like Jack Black, but like I feel like they both kind of like are who you see on the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, there's a great video on YouTube by a guy named Patrick H. Willems where he talks about brands over actors, where actors now are like the brand. So like you go see a Dwayne Johnson movie, you're seeing like from front to end the Dwayne Johnson brand instead of just like where it used to be, oh, Leo is now in this, or Robert Redford is now in this. Like it is their production. And it was just a really interesting video that I think I recommend about that topic.
All right.
But yeah.
I'll definitely give it a. I'd still love The Rock though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he has an Oscar in.
He is Black Adam. Never forget. He changed the DC universe forever, which is true because after him, the Snyderverse was canceled and we have a reboot. So he was correct in his statement. I will change the DC universe forever.
Facts.
Never forget. All right, and everything else is new except for this one other trailer. That is a new trailer for Gladiator 2. Still looks awesome. My excitement has not changed. I'm just very ready for it. The fact that this and Wicked, it has to be the same weekend, and I have to sit through Wicked just to get to this is going to be so depressing. This is shorter than Wicked. This is 2 hours and 30 minutes.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
This is 10 minutes less than Wicked.
It's going to be almost 6 hours of pure just adrenaline in that movie theater.
I think I'm going to double them. I think I'm going to go back to back.
You're a maniac.
I know. I think I might.
That's crazy.
No, maybe I'll
wait a minute. Nah, I'll save it for later.
What?
Gladiator.
Glicked.
No.
Nah, Gladiator.
Gladiator. Yeah, I'm pretty fired up. I honestly can't wait to just watch the Gladiator trailer in theater.
Yeah, just keep watching
before movies. Yeah, I think it's gonna be so fun to watch.
Oh man, I'm excited for that. The fact that they're the same weekend makes me depressed that we have to talk about those in the same episode.
Makes me fired up.
All of the other trailers are now new. And I think we should start with the TV show because I know I watched it. I think Jack watched it. Charles, I don't think did. And that is The Last of Us Season 2. The Last of Us Season 2 got a teaser coming out in the first half of 2025. Looks incredible. If you don't know what happened to the game, don't Google it because I think will ruin your experience with Season 2. And yeah, I'm pumped for this.
Me too. Because I did watch it.
You watched The Last of Us?
We have had conversations about me watching.
Jack, did you watch The Last of Us?
No, I
mixed it up. I mixed it up. Hand up. I mixed it up. Look at this. Hand is up. I mixed it up.
That's so scuffed.
Listen, if we're playing a game and the game is who hasn't watched it, the safe bet is on you, Charles. I'm sorry, but it is.
I've gotten better.
We just talked about how we hadn't seen something, and you were like, yeah, I haven't seen that.
Tropic Thunder, that's one thing.
How's the first half?
One thing.
Goodfellas treating you?
It's good. Why are you getting after me? Jeez. Why are you
I'm
piling on?
I'm not.
God, this is you right now, piling.
Yeah, no, just piling. Well, it looks great. So Charles, as someone who's seen season 1, did you also think it looked great?
I actually didn't watch the trailer.
Oh, no. Why would you even say anything? Why would you open your mouth about it? Oh, my God. See, that's what I'm saying. Unbelievable, this guy. We're moving on now. We don't even get to talk about it more. How dare. All right. Oh, God. Let's talk about Ballerina. Oh, hang on. Let's start with this. Who here has seen the John Wick movies?
I've seen the first one.
Charles, you're hiding. Have you actually seen John Wick movies?
I've seen the first one and part of the second one, so I got
beat me on this one.
I beat Jack on this one.
Well, this is a spinoff of the John Wick movies. Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. I was very skeptical of this because I think the action in John Wick is so specific and so awesome that I was worried it was hard to replicate. And it kind of seems like they did it. They replicated it. Because this looked great. Like, I thought this looked really good.
No, I'm excited, even though I haven't seen the other John Wick movies. I really liked her in the new James Bond movie, or I guess James Bond movie, the last one.
Yeah.
I thought she was like a massive highlight in that. So I thought her getting her own project in this and like the John Wick verse is pretty cool. So
No Time to Die, almost 3 years old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is really wild. But yeah, no, Ballerina looks quite impressive. The scene specifically of her with the fire hose and the guy with the flamethrower. Come on.
That looks sick.
On. What, like, yeah, let's go. That rocked. So, Charles, any thoughts on the Ballerina trailer? Oh, say the phrase.
Nope.
Say what you said.
I don't.
Why?
I don't.
Why do you not have any thoughts? Why do you not have any thoughts on
it?
Why
not? What are we talking about next?
not? Yeah, let's talk about Sinners. That's a great. Yeah, let's talk about Sinners. Sweet. Why don't you lead us off, Charles, and your thoughts on Sinners?
Actually, can we start with Thunderbolts, and I can lead us off on that one?
No. We're gonna do Sinners first. So Sinners is Ryan Coogler writing and directing, starring Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, and Jack O'Connell. It seems like it is a vampire kind of something going on with vampires. It looks great. Sign me up for a period piece any day of the week. And I don't know, Jack, since I think you watched this trailer.
Yeah.
It feels like this should have been Blade, right?
Yeah, the weird thing was after watching the trailer, I didn't necessarily feel like vampire vibes to me. Maybe I was just like not as locked in as I thought I should have been, but I was like, was I the only one that thought like, so there's Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
And then did he have like a duplicate at one point?
See, that's what I couldn't figure out also. I think he does. I think he has it's like him and like a brother.
Okay.
And then like they have two different lives where one is more on the side of good and one is, the sinner.
Okay. Good. Or I didn't know if it was like a dual personality type thing. I was just kind of like a little like, I feel like I got part of the storyline, but I didn't feel like I was totally like locked in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I just felt like this was probably the best trailer we got of the whole bunch of all the trailers.
And this is
incredible.
This is an original idea, right? Like this isn't
100% original. There are rumors that this was like what he said he wanted his Blade movie to be. Like he's like, I want to do Blade. Okay. This is what I want it to be. That is unconfirmed by like anybody, but I'm just putting out what the rumor is.
Yeah.
I just thought this looked awesome.
Yeah.
Also, Michael B. Jordan is just so jacked.
No, I'm excited. I mean, I love Michael. Yeah, exactly. I mean, bro just stays in great shape for whatever role he needs to be in. So, I mean, this is his first movie since what, Creed 3?
Yeah, so this is first one. Well, Creed 3 was last year.
Was that last year?
It was February 2023. So it's been over a year, but it was still 2023.
Oh,
I know.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, that threw me for a. Yeah, no, I gotcha.
So he's in Sinners. Then he also is in the Rainbow Six movie as John Clark because he was in that movie Without Remorse, I think. And then he's got the Thomas Crown Affair, a new Creed, and I Am Legend 2 coming out from Michael B. Jordan. So
sick.
And he's going to be directing, I believe, Creed 4 again. So just like he directed Creed 3. Man, I can't wait for Creed now. I'm excited for that.
Love those movies.
But yeah, Sinners look good. Hey, Charles, do you want to talk about Thunderbolts now?
Sure. Well, do you want to give the summary?
Sure. From IMDb, a group of supervillains are recruited to go on missions for the government.
That's the whole thing?
That's what all it says on IMDb. It also stars Florence Pugh, Lewis Pullman, Sebastian Stan. And it comes May 2nd, 2025. Anything else you want from me?
Yeah, you're good, man.
Take us away.
I honestly thought it looked really good. Maybe that's I don't know if that's a hot take. Because I haven't looked at Twitter, but I thought it looked very different from what Marvel has come out with in the past. Like I feel like Marvel kind of like you can kind of tell a Marvel movie is Marvel, but I felt like this was kind of like a different direction, almost maybe a little darker, and I kind of like that. I couldn't really tell what was happening in the trailer, like what the whole movie's totally about, but it was cool when they all came together, especially like and they were like fighting each other. Like that was probably my favorite part of the trailer, and I thought it was pretty neat.
Do you want me to tell you what it's going to be about? I mean, I know what it's going to kind of be about, so I can tell you. So the big Lewis Pullman, who was in this trailer for a moment in that scene where they're all fighting, and then he kind of walks out in the medical garb, is going to be Sentry. And it seems like the Thunderbolts are brought together to take out Sentry, who is basically the power level of Marvel's Superman.
Yeah.
Who has two personalities. It's Sentry and then the Void, which is like this. It's like split personality where one is like evil, one is good. And I kind of love this idea. I agree with you. I think this it feels different. It feels darker. It also feels more like a movie. It doesn't feel like a TV show or like it looks better. I also think it's the perfect time for this because 2025 seems to be like the year of the hopeful superhero. You have Captain America, Fantastic Four, Superman, and then there's this, which is like the anti-heroes. So I kind of think it's actually a great placement for it. And I'm just excited to see more Florence Pugh because she rocks and everything she does. So that was my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked really good. I was like, not like skeptical coming into this, just because
I'll be honest, I was.
I just felt like obviously we've gotten Florence Pugh's character in what Hawkeye.
So we had Hawkeye, Black Widow.
I think that's it for her.
What if you want to count that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a bunch of these characters, like we've seen them in some extent, but we really don't know them. You know, like obviously we know Bucky, and I think that's my biggest draw for this. Like, I want to see how Bucky's story kind of develops, what that looks like, and then what is it? U.S. soldier, or I'm blanking on his name.
It is U.S. soldier.
Yeah, or U.S. agent. Is it agent or soldier?
Whatever. John Walker. He's John Walker. That's what his name is.
Yeah, John Walker. Agent. Either way. I kind of liked his storyline in
I would say he was a big highlight of
Falcon and Winter Soldier. I really like that just because like the whole idea of like Captain America also being this symbol and like the mantle being handed down to someone else, and then what that symbol looks like once it's kind of like tarnished, you know?
I'm with you.
So,
yeah.
I honestly like maybe I revisit that show and I like don't like it as much, but I think I look back on that show like with a lot of like
I'm gonna rewatch it before we get to Captain America 4, I think. That's my plan at least.
No, that would make sense for me as well. But I love Bucky.
Yeah, I love Bucky too. My only complaint from this entire trailer is I feel like Moon Knight should have been on this team. I feel like it's been a great place to bring back Moon Knight after a show. It's been a while. People know him, so it's not like you're just throwing in a random character. Like I feel like Moon Knight would have really fit in here.
Maybe he'll come in.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think, is there anyone in here that needs like serious CGI?
Ghost, kind of.
Yeah, Ghost.
And then Sentry once he's powered up. Sentry will.
Okay.
I mean, technically Hawkeye as well, because she's not shooting actual arrows, but I guess that's not like insane CGI though.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Wait.
Did I miss that?
Wait, Hawkeye's in it, right?
Hawkeye's not on this team.
Okay, I was like,
Haley Steinfeld?
I was so confused.
No, she's not on this.
What?
Haley Steinfeld is in the Sinners trailer, not in this trailer.
What did I see? Hold on.
Haley Steinfeld was in the post-credit scene of The Marvels, where she's setting up the Young Avengers with Kamala Khan.
Oh.
This guy is perplexed
Never
right
mind.
now. Taskmaster, Ghost, the Russian Captain America, Bucky, U.S. Agent, and Yelena are this team members on this team, and then Sentry.
Oh, I'm just a.
Also, great poster, by the way. Yeah. This poster rocks.
Yeah, I think it's funny because we've gotten that was like the Inside Out poster. Like, well, that was like the Inside Out poster. Like they very much. I saw somebody posted something in like very much they like mirror like the Inside Out poster as well as I'm blanking on the other movie. Let me pull it up.
But while you're thinking,
great poster.
I will say this ties back to our Green Lantern conversation. We have gotten one on-screen Green Lantern appearance in the last forever. This is the second appearance of Ghost from Marvel Comics. So that just tells you that we, as DC, needs to pick it up because that is kind of embarrassing. I will not lie. But yeah, that's all I got for Thunderbolts. I'm excited for it. More than I ever really was. That's for sure.
Same.
Would you like me to do a recap of Agatha All Along?
Sure.
All right.
Sorry, I'm
Agatha
looking.
All Along, episode 3, Through the Many Miles / of Tricks and Tales. The coven is now on the Witch's Road, and they pull up to a house, and it seems like the episodes are going to follow this basic structure where they're on the road, and they have to do an escape room where one of the witches and the coven has to use their powers to help them escape the escape room. This episode was fine, pretty passable. Nothing huge happened, I felt, at least. It was kind of announced that this was the cheapest Marvel show they ever made, so that's, I think, a good choice for them. Save some money when you can, especially on something smaller like this. It's just very fine. I feel this very similar to this as I feel about the Star Wars show that I still cannot remember the name of, even though I watched every single episode. Acolyte. Thank you. I almost said The Apostle. Acolyte. It just feels like there's people that like it, and also I feel like it's kind of wasting my time. But then again, I'm a shill, so I will be sitting there watching every single episode. However, once again, having said this, I think if Marvel plays this right, they're basically treating the TV shows like comics, where you pick the storylines that you like, and you can follow those on cheaper shows, and that's not a bad plan. So I think this will be a show that I recommend you guys probably binge at the end of the season once again. Because the next episode...
Right.
Oh, also, they teased and name-dropped Mephisto. So that's about it. Yeah.
It did. I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, so they did say that. So get hype, I guess, for that. If you want to. You don't have to. Mephisto. Ooh, he's coming. Ooh. But yeah, that was Agatha All Along. So I think we should get into our reviews. Let's get into our reviews. I want to start with the Wild Robot, if you guys don't mind, because I feel like we should end with Megalopolis.
Okay.
Chuck, I'm going to give the synopsis for Wild Robot, and then I think that you should go first.
I think I went first last time. It was just you and me, so I think you should go first.
Yeah, but the theme of today seems it's funnier if you go first. So, the Wild Robot.
Mean?
Yeah, but you went first. Like, I just think it's funnier if you go first. I would just prefer you to go first because you liked it more than I did. So I think you should go first.
Okay.
All right. No, fine. I'll go first.
I'll go first.
No,
let her rip with the synopsis. No, it's fine. After
a shipwreck, an intelligent robot named Roz is stranded on an uninhabited island. To survive the harsh environment, Roz bonds with the island's animals and cares for an orphaned baby goose. It's based on a book series and stars Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, and Kit Connor. Would you like to go first?
Can I say something really quick?
Yes, you can.
I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to see this or not. But either way, I'm sure you guys are going to talk about spoilers, so I might just
You just mute yourself, yeah.
Mute myself.
I won't talk.
And then
just spoilers first.
Just give me a nice little wave, and then we'll do that. Fantastic. Okay. Great.
Okay.
Talk to me, Charles. What you got?
So I went in with very high hopes. I think you knew that. I've articulated that in the past. And I loved this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I honestly got emotional. Honestly, I'm starting to discover it's pretty easy for me to get emotional during movies, but like if I was alone watching this, I would have cried. There's no doubt in my mind. Starting off with just the animation, I thought it was astounding.
Looks so beautiful.
It was beautiful to watch. And I got chills during the trailer. I didn't get a ton of chills during this. I think it was because my emotions were more like choked up than chills, But
yeah.
I thought the entire movie just looked beautiful, and there were a few specific scenes where I was like, "Wow, that's just hats off,"
I think I can name some of those scenes. We'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah. As far as the story goes, I also thought it was beautiful. and I wrote it in my review, but I think the story coupled with the animation is just like it made for such an incredible viewing experience for me. I mean, it was the same story that I thought it'd be about, and I think it was like pretty clear what it's about in the trailer. But yeah, I mean, I felt like there were a ton of emotions that I felt throughout the movie, and I think that kind of like influenced my score. I gave it 4.5 stars. I was between 4 and 4.5, and then I was like, you know what, I was leaning 4.5. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what your, I suppose, not reservations, but
I feel like
issues
why
with
it's not.
the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel similar. I think it looked beautiful. I think it's also helpful that if you compare it to last week with Transformers, this looks a lot better than Transformers. Not to hate on Transformers, but like this just was leagues ahead. I felt visually.
Okay.
I think the story was awesome. I think it sets the tone very early. I'm gonna just say spoilers because I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
When Roz basically kills the Goose's entire family, except for the right off the bat, basically, I was like, okay, the tone of this I think is very strong going forward. I really liked Pedro Pascal's character as Fink, the fox. I thought he was honestly pretty impressive with his voice work in this.
I didn't realize it was him.
It took me a minute. I loved the progression of Roz and Lupita Nyong'o's kind of voice throughout the entire film as she learns to be more, I don't want to say human, but like just more emotional. Her voice changes. And you really notice it in the scene where she meets the other robot, not the one that comes from the ship, but the other Roz robot. And you can hear the difference that she was at and now where she is. I thought that was incredible. I was like, wow, what a difference. And it's slow, but like, I thought it was really strong. I think the only reason for me this isn't like a 4.5 or something like that. I just think there were maybe 15 minutes too long. I do think that it was slightly just, I don't know. I feel like it was doing a lot towards the end when it was very focused for the first 2/3. And while I did really enjoy the ending, I kind of wish it was, I don't know, left a bit more ambiguous versus like Roz recognizing Bright Bill like right away. I don't know. That was just like, I guess, something for me. But I really did enjoy it. I think I give it, I would say probably a 75, 77 out of 100. I really did like it quite a bit. And I highly recommend it to anyone. I think it is one of the better original animated movies of the last decade. And I think it just rocked.
Okay, so we're not that far off on it because I was going to give it like an 87.
Yeah, it's only 10 points.
And honestly, what you kind of said about the ending, I agree with it in a way. I didn't even realize that was going to be part of the movie. Like going into it, my expectation was just like wildlife focused, and
yeah, same.
Everything on, what was the goose's name? Something Bill?
Bright Bill.
Bright Bill? Yep. I thought it was just going to be all in on Bright Bill. And with all the robot stuff at the end, that was surprising to me.
I will say, I loved the post-apocalyptic Earth. That was very cool. When the geese are flying and you see like the bridges underwater and like civilization kind of crumbled, that was very, very cool. Great reveal.
Yeah. But I didn't really expect like the final 30 minutes. That being said, I didn't mind it. I still thought it was like fun to watch. That didn't evoke as much emotion for me. Like my emotion kind of like getting choked up kind of died after Bright Bill left.
I agree. The scene of Roz running, I think, was the peak emotion of the movie.
Yes.
She chases them out.
When you can see Roz's emotion as she's like hanging on to the tree and just watching him go away, and you just like see her face kind of fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That almost got me. The flyby almost got me. I did love very close to crying. Yeah. And so that's kind of when the emotion kind of started dying off. But then again, like the whole scene where it's winter and she saves all the animals and everyone comes together,
Great scene.
I also loved that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought that scene was awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good movie. Like I really liked it. I just don't think it hit the highs. It never hit lows. It just never hit the highs, I would say, of like other animated like top movies. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Also, I
So, yeah,
loved the possums. The possums were great.
Oh, the possums rocked.
Yeah.
Especially when one of them died.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
yeah,
then
I
it
have
was like,
seven,
I'm
I
back.
have 7 children. Yeah.
He's like, I didn't
And then
die,
like you just
everyone.
hear a
They're like,
scream.
oh.
She's like, yep, never mind. Yeah. Okay, so I think where we don't see eye to eye is I experienced those highs.
Yeah, I think that was it. I just
think
never felt.
I think that's where we're not seeing. That's fair.
Also, I love the design of Roz. All-time cool robot design.
Yeah,
Very,
and
very cool.
the adaptability of Roz,
Oh
like
yeah, the
as
hand
soon as
being
she
able to
saw
detach.
as soon as she saw the crab walking, she just like learned to walk up the cliff like the crab. That was sweet.
Sweet.
That was like 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, it was so cool.
And the whole learning, like turn on a learning mode, that was also really
Yeah.
cool. Cool.
No, I liked it a lot.
This is actually, guess where this is on the year for me?
I think this is in your top 10.
It's number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah. I rearranged my rankings.
This is 13 for me. This was the other one that was 12, 13 for my new watches.
Okay. I rearranged my top 5 a little bit. Dune Part 2 is now number 1.
Let's go.
Yeah. Jack's me like, what is that? Dune is number 1.
Yeah.
Wild Robots 2. Monkey Man's 3, and Deadpool Wolverine's 4. Those were the ones I switched.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Should we call Jack back in?
Yeah.
I think you need to tell him that what you just said to me.
Okay.
All right, Jack is putting back on his headphones. You don't have to tell him anything else. Just tell him what number it's at.
Jack, Hunter thinks I should tell you this. Where do you think Wild Robot is on the year for me?
Oh man.
I guess I'd say where mine is. So
honestly,
mine's 13.
To begin, like genuinely thinking for Charlie, I know you didn't love Dune, and I don't know if you've given like a 5-star this year. So I think you might have it at 1.
Wow. Very close. It's at number 2.
Behind.
That's number 1.
Dune Part 2.
Yep.
Really? Okay. Well, honestly, that makes sense. But okay.
I rearranged my rankings. So like going into this weekend, my rankings were Deadpool, Wolverine, Monkey Man, Dune Part 2. And then after watching this, I was like, okay, this should be the top 3. But I was kind of thinking, I don't think Monkey Man and Deadpool Wolverine have as much rewatchability as Dune Part 2 does. And like I think over time, I'm starting to appreciate Dune Part 2 a little more. So I bumped that to number 1. And this was number 2. You should see this though, Jack. You should see
all the
I know
movies
I
right by him. I can't reach over and pull out steals as well.
No, the Dune Part 2. Oh, I'm glad that you have it in its rightful spot. But I knew you loved this movie. I knew you really liked this movie. So I feel like that's very fitting for you. That didn't change after you guys' conversation. Like, did you feel like your perception of the movie stayed the same after discussing it with Hunter? Okay.
We can probably tell him what the difference in our views was, right?
No,
it's not a spoiler.
No, it's just the highs of the movie didn't hit as high for me as it hit for Charles. That's basically the difference.
Sure. Yeah.
We liked all the same things.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic.
But now,
let's do it. Megalopolis. Okay, so I was thinking about how we wanted to review this. I almost want to give our scores right off the bat and then go from there. Also, full spoilers. You cannot talk about this movie without spoilers. I don't know how you could ever talk about it without spoiling the quote unquote.
I don't think spoiling this movie is going to do harm for anyone. I actually think it will do good.
All right. I think we should give her out of 100 to start. And that's a good base set. Sets a tone.
Okay.
I think I want I think Charles, you should go first because I want Jack to go second because he liked it the most.
Let's go first.
I think mine's gonna be the lowest. So that's
I'll go first. I'll go first if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll give it a 30.
Okay. All right. I was gonna give it a 7.
All right. I am more similar to Charles. I was gonna give it a 9.
Wow.
There we go. This thing stunk. I'm sorry. Like it's so bad. It is shocking. So I'm gonna read the synopsis, and then I'm gonna give you some background on this movie to further our understanding. So, the city of New Rome is in the main conflict between Caesar Catalina, a brilliant artist in favor of a utopian future, and greedy mayor Franklin Cicero. Between them is Julia Cicero, her loyalty divided between them, her father and her beloved. Directed and written by Francis Ford Coppola. He has had this idea since the 80s. After he retired from making films, he went on and started a winery. He then could not get this idea out of his head to make Megalopolis. So he sold the winery and self-funded this movie. This was his passion project of passion projects. And this was the result. I will say one thing before we start. For that, I respect the hell out of this movie. I respect it to its core. We don't get stuff like this anymore, or ever. And for that, I respect it. Will I say it's good? No. But will I respect it? Yes.
And I'm this is gonna sound really stupid, but I wish that we would get a movie like this at least once a year.
No.
In what sense? A director's passion project? Because that I agree with.
Director's passion project,
like
and well, the movie itself is. I mean, this gets into the overall. It's way too much is going on. The ideas and the themes that they want to include in this movie, I would argue, are very interesting, but none of them are fully developed. They're all, once it reaches a certain point, it just moves on to something else, and then something else gets introduced, and it just keeps going on. And I feel like that's just how the movie was for me. But I think in terms of, there's some good actors. I mean, the cast is pretty deep for this movie. You wouldn't agree that there's good actors in this movie? I'm not saying there was good.
There are good actors in this movie. Are they doing a good job?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Back to the club.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny.
I laughed out loud.
I thought it was funny. Like the right. Okay.
There were people in my theater that laughed out loud at that. It's so dumb.
Oh,
Why don't you go back to the club?
With all of the actors, I thought they respected his view, and they respected that this was a movie that he really wanted to make. And I'm sure they probably got a nice little paycheck too.
I think that's probably the driving factor.
The reason I think I like this movie more than I completely agree with you guys. This movie is not good. This movie is not good. There's way too much going on. There's a lot of scenes where you sit back and you're kind of just thinking to yourself, like, how much time is left in this thing? When is the next thing that's going to happen that's going to interest me? Like, I think there's a couple points in this movie where I'm like, okay, like that was interesting. That was kind of like, that was an interesting scene to watch. And then it just kind of like leads to nowhere. Is that how you guys feel as well?
There's a specific scene I think of where Dustin Hoffman, his character, is like, I'll take care of this for you. And then disappears for about 45 minutes of the movie. And it's revealed by Shia LaBeouf's character that he was killed in a rock slide or like a collapsing building off screen. And we didn't know about it for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Shocking. Shocking.
Well, you didn't even know about his character at all. You didn't even know about his character.
Yeah.
Like there was like
I
barely any
that.
like.
I thought he was like a friend or like a secretary. I'm now on the IMDb. He's the quote unquote the fixer. So he was like the guy to call. Insane.
Yeah, I was kind of dozing a little bit, so I probably missed that piece of dialogue.
Talia Shire showing up as Caesar's mother, being just mean, and then going away, and then showing up at the end in like a reverse Rocky scenario was an insane choice to make. Oh my god, I can't.
I think that's
so bad.
I take away all the writing and stuff. Like I think that I thought Aubrey Plaza's character was like very entertaining,
but she wasn't good. Like I've seen Aubrey Plaza in things where like I'm impressed with her acting.
Sure,
I was watching it with.
There was never a moment in this where I was like, Aubrey Plaza is acting very well in the scene.
Yeah, I agree. But I can agree. Like, or I can still say I think she was one of the most entertaining parts about this movie. But that being said, that's still not saying a whole lot.
It felt like watching Parks and Rec, and there was like a scene where her and Chris Pratt were doing like a fake movie together, and this was the fake movie. That's what it felt like watching this, and like her in this.
It was hard for me to watch her. It was like very hard to just like sit there and be like, not be like, Yeah, I was watching with Traverso, and there's one scene, and we were both just like, ugh, this is just weird.
Can I guess the scene?
You know,
is it her and Shia LaBeouf?
I think yeah, you definitely know this scene.
It's the her and Shia LaBeouf scene.
It's like what are you watching right now?
Oh, and then you have the scene with John Voight.
Oh my god, the John Voight.
Do you like
the death of WoW Platinum will go down in history as one of the more shocking moments in cinema.
The funny thing is,
John Voight has the ability to not reload. He doesn't reload his bow and arrow once. He reloads it 3 times in the time it takes to get Shia LaBeouf out of the room. It's insane.
Brutal.
Very brutal. I went with 2 friends to go see this movie. And one of my friends, like every time I go to the movies with him, I always have a great time. Like I genuinely feel like we could watch the worst movie ever and we would still leave the movies having a great time. So I think if they had not been there, I would not have liked this movie as much. I think on paper this movie is not good. But I think like, you know when you're watching just like a bad movie with friends, you know that feeling like you're just like everyone's like, man, this movie's just not good. You know, and you're just like
usually I turn it off. If there's a bad movie on with friends,
I think there's a level. No, I'm with Jeff. There's a level where it's like so bad you want to watch it. It's like a car crash where it's like you can't look away. Then there's bad movies you want to turn off, and then there's good movies you want to watch. There's like this bell curve of like this was on the side of the bell curve where I'm like, it's like a car crash. I couldn't look away.
But there was me and my 2 friends, as well as like 5 other people.
Yeah, my theater had 3 other people in it.
There was
4 other people in it.
Love that for you, man. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
You are in a big city compared to us who are not. So I would say that's part of it.
Yeah. This theater I went to, that's what I wanted to say earlier. I think it's the best AMC I've been to.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really sweet.
Yeah. Pretty fired up. It's like 10 minutes away. Pretty sweet.
Oh, that's actually electric. There are 2 people I think give decent performances in this movie. I think Shia LaBeouf does pretty well. And I think the MVP acting-wise is Lawrence Fishburne, who's not in it very often. But I think he was pretty decent in it.
I feel like it was hard to mess up. Like
he was like really hard to mess the driver.
Because the primary, like a lot of his lines were just like voiceover, and then a couple of it's just like him driving. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like it was a hard role for him to like screw up.
No, I agree. Also, it was hard to mess up for sure.
And I think they also gave him the best, or not the best dialogue, but like a lot of his lines were very philosophical. Like he would introduce a quote from some, philosopher, and he'd talk about it or he wouldn't even talk about it, but he'd just like bring it up. He wouldn't really like, talk about it anymore. He would just kind of like leave it as it is and that'd be it.
Yeah.
So, like Adam Driver's character where the writing, I agree. The club, like
the club.
Like me and my friends, we laughed at that scene, but like that's not the only scene we laughed at. Like there were scenes where like
I'd be shocked if we could remember this whole movie and all the beats it goes on because it's so disconjointed.
Yep.
There's a scene where Grace Vanderwaal shows up and is supposed to be like a 17-year-old virgin, and then
Pop
she's
star.
revealed to
Yeah.
be like a 23-year-old person who's like not. And I'm sorry, like what?
Yeah.
And
There's
just-
the one scene that I remember laughing at because of how like just terrible it was. You know how Adam Driver gets like the megalon on his face,
oh my god, yeah.
and that just shows him, and there are 5 of him.
Yes.
Like, what am I watching right now? Like, what is this?
So the scene where he has the bandage on his face.
Dude, him getting shot was
Man.
very funny.
Yes.
I could smell it a mile away too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's in
Nice
the
meeting
room.
you.
He's waiting.
You too.
He's like, he's like, oh my gosh, like the bank, you guys just froze my account, like da 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 da. And they're like, and then he takes the bandage off of his face. It's supposed to be this big reveal, and me and my friends just start dying laughing.
Yeah, the Megalon is just that insanely cool, I guess.
Another thing, I think that they tried to cover this, but it wasn't like super thorough. How the Megalon was created, it was like through like the babies of his dead wife.
Yeah, I also didn't really understand how Megalon came to be.
I didn't think it was like a huge like point of the movie, like how it came to be. It's just that he created it. And that's
Yeah,
like,
I was of the understanding that Megalon was like a metaphor for the idea of the city. Like the idea continues to grow and like can change and evolve over time. That was my impression of it. I didn't think it was like supposed to be like a real substance, which obviously it was, but like not for the metaphor, I guess.
Yeah.
what was with the stopping time?
Yeah, I didn't super get the point of that. I think it was kind of supposed to be like if someone's so good at their craft, they can like almost slow time around. You know how like there's clips of like Tom Brady talking and he's like, I mean, there were just plays where it felt like I was moving and everyone else was walking. I kind of feel like it was supposed to be like that, where like he is so far ahead that he, I guess, can do it. But he also like affected real life, so I don't know.
And other people could see it, like
Nathalie Emmanuel as Julia Cicero. Not good. Not good in this role. Just really not.
I think it's hard.
I didn't have an issue with
I think it's really hard to blame the actors for a lot of this. I think the actors are really just like a lot of them are very young. Obviously, there are some older actors, like Dustin Hoffman and then Lawrence Fishburne that are like, oh, but Francis Ford Coppola, like, this is like, one of the greatest directors of all time, and they like have an opportunity to work with him. I feel like it's a really hard project to turn down, right?
I don't disagree with that, but I think there's a difference between obviously wanting to not turn something down and then giving the performance on the day. Like, I feel that way about Aubrey Plaza. Like, I think Aubrey Plaza is capable of a much better performance than she was in this movie. I think she's better than Agatha all along than she is in this movie. And it's not because the writing's like that much better. It's just that I think that she is better in that role and plays it better.
Okay. Yeah, because for me personally, I feel like a lot of the writing isn't great, but I mean, sure, there's a couple line deliveries, like sure the club one, but I think that writing was very much the writing was still like very much like intended for that to be delivered in like a kind of a goofy way. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think I just personally kind of like struggle with like how much of this is really their fault. I mean, obviously they chose the movie and they went through with it, so they chose to do it. But
okay, so what do we think? Because that was when I left the theater, I was like, all right, what was the message of this movie? What was the idea? And my opinion of it is that Francis Ford Coppola is trying to say we need to move past politics into a better future. I think that was the central idea of this movie. through all the weirdness. Do you feel like I'm far off, or did you get something different than what I got from that?
Hunter, I'm going to be frank with you. I didn't give it a single thought.
Okay.
I left that movie. I thought to myself, what a stinker. And I didn't give it another thought.
No, hey, that's fair. That's fair.
But like hearing you say that, you could be onto something.
Well, because I was like, all right, he's clearly trying to say something. There's no doubt he's saying something. And I was like, okay, is it like, oh, I'm against blank, like, am I against the left or like the right? And it felt like he was against everybody. So I was like, all right, maybe he's just against the idea of politics in general. And that's the kind of the vibe I got, at least. I don't know.
You're right.
For me, I don't think I really got a big like lesson out of it. I was like, I think it is interesting, just a deep dive. I thought the whole idea of New Rome was very interesting. To say that this movie would have been, better with more time is, I feel like it's very stupid of me to say, but at the same time, I feel like there's just so much going on, and they tried to cram so much in this runtime that they have ideas that they don't even like.
I feel like this would have been much better as like almost like a 3-part movie.
I agree. Just like
where you could have just taken more time with it.
Yes, like I mean, they gave us like a little like glimpse into what the politics looks like there, but like we really had no idea what was going on.
Yes,
I mean, I feel like we're just hopping from one thing to the next, trying to introduce a new character, trying to introduce a new idea.
There's like the building authority that's allowed to just build whatever or tear down buildings whenever they want. Like, what is up with that? Like, is that like I don't is that positive? Like, then you have Giancarlo Esposito as the mayor, like trying to put in casinos. It's like, all right, is that? And then
you even have the point. This is not politics aside, but like where Giancarlo Esposito's character tries to pay off Adam Driver to
because of like the dead wife, and you're like, wait, he did he actually kill the wife? Like what?
Which I don't know. But then the baby, like he was like, but then that just kind of gets resolved. Like nothing happens there.
Yeah, and then they're like cool
I think it
with each other.
Better. I think it would have been better with more time, and I think if we had more time to like, I know it sounds stupid. I know it really does, because there's a lot of moments in this movie where it feels like it like a 2-minute scene lasts for like 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think there's just so much packed in here. I like the idea though of like seeing America and the United States as like Rome, as like this big, like kind of like empire that. Like what happens to an empire when it falls, like when it is falling, like how do you know? Like
I thought that was a pretty interesting concept right off the bat.
Yeah. Like even I didn't see Civil War, but like I feel like Civil War kind of like dives into that.
Civil War was more coherent.
Yeah, I mean I didn't see that, but at least like from like watching the trailer, I feel like I could get the idea of like, well, United States is going down, separating from this. I still like there were different groups, but it was just so much going on. Like Shia LaBeouf's character, that whole thing, like with him, and I really liked him in this movie. I thought he was a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, yes, I agree. I think he was slimy, a very slimy character.
Gave me a lot of good giggles too. Very, very slimy.
Yeah. That's why I was disappointed in it. I think I was like pretty excited for the like right when it opened. I was like, this is a very interesting concept. Like a civilization that is doing so well that it's kind of come back around, where it's on the fall. It's such an interesting concept. And then you have like two guys with two very different ideas for it. The fact that wasn't just the focus and it got so lost in the weeds, I think is such a detriment to this movie. Where if it just focused on those two ideals and like the opinions on those two ideals, I think it'd been so much better. Almost like a Romeo and Juliet type thing with Julia being in between these two ideas and like these two families would have been so good. It just is way, way too much and gets very lost. And it's a wanting to be, I think, smart. I don't know. I was shocked by this, and I expected very little going in. Big bummer. Big bummer.
I think there's a lot of like visually. I think for like there's parts of it that look really bad, but then there's parts of it that I'm like, oh, they kind of look kind of good, you know. But I think
Gladiator scene,
like
very cool.
I think there's a lot of stuff that was like really neat and it looked good, but then towards the back end, especially when they had like the Megalopolis, it looked kind of goofy.
Yeah, it did not look like a place I'd want to live.
Yeah. It looked like I don't know what it looked like Avatar, you know, like
yeah,
like Avatar, they had like everything, but it was all white.
Yeah, not great.
I think it's very interesting to see the people that really enjoyed this movie and why they enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was reading some reviews and like
a lot of it can't really comprehend.
I know. I feel like some people like give it like 5 stars and like they really like it, and then people are like us, where it's like not for them. And I saw a great tweet about it, and I think it sums it up really well. It was like, this is in the group of movies called like cilantro movies, where either you love it or you absolutely despise it. It's like this, Spider-Man 3. There's a couple other ones that were on that list that they had, but like I was like, that is a great, I'd say, example. And like this is just, I don't know, it's just not really for me.
Yeah, it was quite unfortunate. And obviously my letterbox, I gave it 2.5. And like for a lot of my ratings, like I try and like factor in how my experience was, like how my theater experience was. And when I say it, I honestly had like a good time, like watching this movie with my friends. Like that's a very true statement. But then I think talking about this movie and what's good about it is very hard to do. And I think it's very easy to pinpoint, oh, I enjoyed this part of it. And I think I really thought this was interesting, but then they lost me here and they lost me here.
Yeah.
But it's like the laughs, and like my friend was sitting next to me the entire time and he's like, dude, what is going on? And I swear he said that at least like 7 or 8 times throughout the movie.
Yep.
And to be completely honest, like I totally valid. 2 pairs of couples left my theater, and then a single individual left my theater before we were even halfway through.
Yeah, we had some people. We had a lady leave, and she came back 30 minutes later.
I think we had a few people leave. I couldn't really keep track because people were like going to the bathroom. But
I felt bad. Sure. There were these 2 guys that were kind of like down the road from me, and when I first came in, it was just those 2 guys and me, and they were talking how excited they were, and they left, and they looked sad on their way out. So I felt bad for those guys. Yeah, not good. Also, so my AMC has 40 theaters in it.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a very big AMC. This was reserved to the left wing in the back. So they knew it wasn't going to sell well, and it did not. So yeah, Megalopolis is flopping hard. I will say this, and I said it on the TikTok I made about this. I really do appreciate that this exists. I think it is, maybe it's not for us, and I don't think it's very coherent, but the fact that in today's movie culture, which is very driven by the boardroom, very driven by studios and mandates and all this other stuff, to have a vision of one specific person, a passion project of that one specific person, with actual actors people know, being put in theaters, I think is awesome. I think that idea is great. I wish it was executed better. And I think people will come along and there'll be things like that. I think a great example of it, and someone doing it inside the studio system, is Christopher Nolan. I think Christopher Nolan does what are quote unquote Christopher Nolan movies. Yes, Batman, obviously franchise, but everything else has not been. It's been an original idea front to back. And people go see Christopher Nolan movies. I think he's one of the few. I think Denis Villeneuve is going to become one of the few after he's done with Dune. I think there's other guys out there that are like this. I think even Greta Gerwig has joined that ranks after Barbie. I think people are very excited to see what she does next, just as a director. Which is why Megalopolis, I think, joins the group of movies that I think will be looked back on that is said, this was a great example of what could have been during this time. It just is not good. Which stinks.
Yeah. That was well said.
That adds on, like when I was saying earlier, like I wish we would get a movie like this every year.
Yeah.
Not like this caliber of bad, but like this caliber of like so many, like literally as soon as the movie started, I'm like, oh, I know that person. I know that person. I know that
Yeah.
person. That probably
We had
went
it
on.
last year. Oppenheimer last year was this, but good.
Yes. And it's just like, I mean, obviously Oppenheimer is based on like a book and whatnot.
Yeah.
So but still the way that the story was interpreted and how it was put together was still very original.
Yes.
Like the book doesn't, talk about it like that. It's not phrased like that. It doesn't look like that. But I don't know. Original movies are so important. And the problem is,
I
it's just
agree.
like I think we talked about this last podcast, but like I talked to my brother and I talked to my friends, and they're like, I just feel like they're not coming out with good stuff anymore. They just feel like it's all like sequels, it's all like stuff like that. And like I totally get that, totally understand. And some people may not necessarily keep up with movie news enough to really care about it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think like a good original movie will draw in people who don't even really like movies that much, Like
yes. So I completely agree. It's hard to disagree with that. I'm looking at the calendar for
Megalopolis is the original movie Martyr. It is the
So last year we had Oppenheimer and Barbie, which I'd say were like the two originals that were the big ones. 2022, I don't know if you would qualify this. I would qualify this. I would say Top Gun Maverick is kind of an original. Yes, it's a sequel, but also like
No, it's a sequel. I think it's a sequel.
All right, Bullet Train.
Yep.
Not really
I'd
saying
say it's
the same
original.
level. Not on the same level though. 2021 had not really. Yeah, 2021 doesn't count. 2020 though, 1917. I would say that falls into this. Actually, 2020 had quite a few. 1917, Little Women, The Invisible Man, Tenet, Knives Out. I would say all these count.
Was like Little Women, isn't that based off a book?
Yeah, but I would see that's the thing. I still think that counts. If it's a director's vision front to back based on something that's not like an existing IP, like it's not like a Star Wars or a Marvel or, even like, I don't know, like Elvis came out a few years ago. I would say that doesn't count. But like Little Women, I think counts. At least I feel like it does. I don't know.
No,
I guess it's just your opinion of it.
Yeah.
Oh, another person to add to this list, Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele is another great example to add to that list of original movie making. Quentin Tarantino also on that list.
I mean, technically, you could say Dev Patel with Monkey Man this year.
That's a great example. Yes, there you go. They do exist. I think people just have to go out and seek them. And I think it's hard because if you're not so in the know like we are, stuff besides the Marvel, the Star Wars, the DC, the Transformers doesn't appear. But I mean, a movie I just watched this week, The Substance, completely original. Written and directed by the same person. An incredible film that I think people should go see. Yet it's not performing insane. It's doing very well, but like not the biggest movie of the week. So I think that's, that's part of it. But yeah, I think Megalopolis stands for something great. However, it is just not good. And that is the end of my thought on that.
I concur.
Yeah, I'm with it.
All right. Unfortunately, we're not living in the world of Megalon, but it is what it is. All right. That's all I got. You guys got anything else? Big episode next week. Big episode. So next week we have Agatha episode 4, which I will do a recap for. We have The Penguin episode 2. And speaking of original movies, Joker 2. Joker 2, baby. We made it. We get to talk some Joker. And then we do get original movie, which is Saturday night the following week. So we get the SNL movie.
And the Time movie with Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield.
Is that the following week?
Oh, We Live in a Time? Is that what it's called?
We Live in Time. I believe it comes out the same week as SNL. So that's a good doubleheader weekend, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe it might be select theaters, but I could have sworn that it's I'm actually going to Nashville that weekend, so I'm gonna have to try and find time to see those movies because I really want to.
Coming soon.
I think Jenna's in town that weekend as well, which might make it challenging for me.
Look up on. Well, I never have anything going on, so
I
I'm
believe
good.
it was.
Yeah, it says October 18th, but it seems like it's limited run, at least maybe in the beginning. So excited to see that.
Yes. Oh, it's theatrical limited, October 11th. So I guess we'll just watch it when we can.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about it. All right. So Joker next week, Penguin episode 2, Agatha episode 4. And overall, we like what Megalopolis stood for, not what it was. So yeah. I got nothing else. You guys got anything else? All right. Well, for Jack and Charles, let's hope the Lions pulled off on Monday Night Football and the Hoosiers. Next week we should be talking about them being 5-0, right? Yeah,
6-0.
6-0. They're already at 5-0 because they're so good, so talented and perfect. I love them so much. All right, awesome. Episode 38 in the books. Hey, have a good week and be careful. You never know who's out there liking Megalopolis. Gotta watch out. Gotta see who your friends really are. All right. We'll see ya.